Hello, this is Dr. Ayleen, and welcome to Medicine Walk. This time, we're at my office, and it is always fun to learn how to do things and do them in different places. So, let me just take care of one thing, because one of the things that I'm doing is right here, I have a laptop. So, occasionally, I'm going to be looking away in this direction. And if anybody has any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in and I will respond to them live. So let's go ahead and just kind of get into it. Today's walk is dealing with, well, I've had a lot of people talking about, especially over the fact that we've had, we just had Thanksgiving and the concept of gratitude and feeling that we things are kind of tough. And sometimes it can be really hard to appreciate what we have because it's a very natural reaction to have an issue with being able to, really look for that silver lining in the cloud. And I honor the people who are open enough and honest enough and really kind of looking for that way to identify what it is that they can really embrace, especially when it seems like things don't feel so good. So let's take a look at that. And that's going to be today's walk. There's going to be a walk into what I call the Olympics. And I'm going to be sharing something in a little bit that relates to that. So first, there's a lot of hard stuff going on right now. And we are in a place where there's a lot of uncertainty, especially in the upcoming year here in the good old US of A. There's a lot of, and like I said, I apologize, but I just want to make sure that I notice if somebody puts a comment on. So I'm going to be occasionally looking that way. So the idea that, okay, there's a certain percentage of us that, maybe we're kind of surprised at how things went in the election, and it is really very natural to be concerned about what the future holds. And I have said before, no matter what the future holds, we're going to be okay. We're going to be just fine because we are a resilient species. And there's a lot for us to learn. And recently, I was speaking with a friend who had something really, really kind of bad happen that kind of shook her faith in what she could, how she felt that the universe was going to take care of her. And sometimes, as the old book title goes, bad things happen to good people. Well, the very next day, something happened that created a shift. And she ended up really getting this huge, amazing gift that was made more powerful by the fact that she had that disappointment. Because my feeling is that often when we're involved with our day-to-day lives and some things go our way and some things don't, and when things don't go our way, it can be really tough not to go, yeah, okay, thanks. And really feel like, and in a way we take it kind of personally. So as we look at those times when things are not going our way, when things are not working out the way we hope, and we think about, okay, what's the silver lining in this? There's an old story about a little boy who was always very optimistic. And his parents were really worried about him because they felt that that was an unrealistic way to go through life. So what they did was, one Christmas morning, they put a huge pile of horse manure under the tree. And they put a tag that said his name on it. So they figured there was no way that he could put a positive spin on getting a nothing but a huge pile of horse manure for Christmas. So the little boy comes down and looks at the pile And he squeals in delight, and he goes and grabs a shovel and he starts shoveling away at it. And his parents said, well, what are you doing? And he said, well, with this much horse manure, there's got to be a pony here. So it is possible to look towards the possibilities of something really cool happening. And one of the things that I work with very much, both for myself and to help other people see, that pretty much it all comes down to the story you tell yourself. You can either tell yourself, or you can tell yourself a story that is really cool. But either way, you're making up a story. So if you have to tell yourself a story about something that is in the future that we really don't know what's going to happen, tell yourself a good one. Because either way, it's just something you're telling yourself to create an emotion, to fill a vacuum. And it's always wonderful to tell yourself a really great story. Now, I have been places that I've had the absolute honor and pleasure of traveling to places. I went to 2 countries in Africa, Togo and Ghana. And I had an opportunity to go to Brazil and spent time in the Amazonian rainforest. And I've been to Costa Rica, and I've been to Mexico, and I've been to England. And seeing how people live in all these different places, and especially in places in Africa and in Mexico and in Brazil, where poverty goes to a level that I really could not perceive in a one-on-one experience, in-person experience. And yet those were some of the places where people were very joyous, because whatever it was that they had, they were happy. And when I was stayed for a couple of weeks in a small village in the rainforest, and the kids found a piece of newspaper or a piece of paper, and they created a game. And then it was like all the kids in the village were playing with this piece of paper as if it were some sort of wonderful gift. Sometimes it is as simple as making a game out of something, what little you've got. And it's also about remembering that tomorrow brings an infinite number of possibilities. Heck, the next hour can bring an infinite number of possibilities. So how are we able to take that and put that into a frame that we can use each and every day to be able to say, hey, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be all right. Well, the first step is looking at the situation for what it is. And when I went to some of these other places, there was both light and shadow. And remember last week we talked about shadow, because shadow is not about evil. Shadow is about intention to create imbalance. It's an intention to create and dissonance and discord and disharmony. But the important thing to remember is that it is about the intention, because a hurricane can create absolute chaos, and we've seen it do it. And that is not shadow, because it is an event in nature. It is a part of a natural cycle of the weather that something like that happens. Now, when we have people who intentionally create chaos through mass devastation, that's shadow. And shadow, well, poverty is not shadow, because once again, it's an event. It's shadow if that poverty is brought about with the intention to disempower and to create imbalance in people's ability to have a good life. So really, very much when I talk about shadow, it has to do with an intention. So natural occurrences, devastating, hard, put out a lot of prayers for that. And it's not the same as someone intentionally trying to go out and create pain or disruption for the sake of pain and disruption. So the first step is looking at these events that cause us to be afraid as events, mostly that we don't know about. The part that scares us isn't the part we know about, but it's the part that we don't know about. And it's very easy to create something about that that will, well, wreak some havoc, wreak some chaos. And we have to be able to stay in a place of, let's wait and see. Let's see what happens. Taking whatever fear it is that is the most significant fear to you and asking yourself, okay, what can I do to be able to make this much easier in case it goes to that really bad place? What is it that I can do today to prepare for that? What is it that I can do today to help empower me and help me feel like I'm a part of the solution and not a part of the problem? Because the biggest part of the problem is when people create fear and then act from that fear based on what it is that they believe may happen. That there are people that are in the equation. And we have to be able to remember that, remember our humanity as well as theirs. Somebody doesn't have to agree with you to still be human. And we come from a society where, yeah, we spend a lot of time disagreeing. We are bound by our humanity. That if something happens, if there's an accident, people are going to come and help, and nobody's going to ask who anybody voted for. So, step one, recognize it for what it is. Do not give an event or person more power than they deserve just because you're afraid of what could happen. Often it's really easy to surrender power. You don't have to do that. Wait, choose. Choose from a place of action as opposed to reaction. Choose from a choice that you make consciously and with thought, as opposed to going, well, what the heck, I'm going to just react to whatever this is. So when looking at any future event or anything coming up, and there's a lot of people who have a lot of very large and, big ideas around what could happen, what might not happen. And whether it's on a global scale, a national scale, or even just within yourself, you can utilize what I'm about to share with you to be able to kind of find some balance with that. And so, or at least that's my hope. The stuff I share, honestly, it comes from my heart. And, I'm here. And I just want to share something that I've learned and that may help things get a little bit better. But know that everything I say comes from my heart. And whether I know you or not, whether I've ever met you, you matter to me. So when I was thinking about some of the things I wanted to share in this show, the idea came to me about the Olympics. And the Olympics are something that you don't just, oh, gee, I think I'll do the Olympics next week. There's a lot of training. There's a lot of preparation. There is a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of real surrender. There's an intensity about preparing for something like the Olympics. Because you know that once you go into it, you've got to give it everything you've got. And more than likely, you're a part of a team. That means that you have a responsibility to your team to be able to pull your weight and do what you need to do. So you want to be in the best condition. So people spend a lifetime preparing for that. People also spend a lifetime preparing for spiritual work, for the chance to actually do what it is that you've trained for years to be able to do. when, you know, doing meditations and doing clearing work with people and doing deep introspective works and finding those places of fear, and all of that has been training for times like this. We use our tools because we know that they work. It doesn't mean that we know it's going to be easy. In fact, if we know anything, we know it's going to be more difficult. But the tools allow us to manage whatever it is that comes, because we can learn to trust them. And we learn to trust them because we've been practicing them. And I know people who have been practicing in spiritual traditions for been alive. And when the times come up that they need to use them, that's where, as one of my dad's sayings, where the rubber hits the road. And it's where we are either in our truth and we are walking our talk, or we are not in our truth and we've been talking our walk the whole time. And I believe that more people walk their talk than don't. So how do we bring that in? First, we use whatever tools we can, whatever tools we have. We work at it, we practice at it. We practice doing breathing exercises. If someone is in a stressful situation, often taking 3 good deep breaths. You inhale, let's say for a count of 4, and exhale for a count of 8. So however you do that, you exhale twice as long as you inhale. That helps to calm your spirit. That helps to calm your mind. That helps to make sure that you can, whatever it is that comes out, you are choosing as opposed to reacting. So when I think about the Olympics, I think about the opening ceremonies. Teams come in. And when I think about the context of all the training that I've done and all the training that many people have done, when a crisis happens, when something really big happens, I picture first all of my teachers marching in, and they're all marching in together. And then I picture those who have been students who have stepped up, and we march in. And all the indigenous peoples from all over the world, they march in, no matter what tradition, and they're marching in together. And then I picture all of the ancestors, all those who have come before, all those who are still with us and who still guide us, and they march in. And then all of the animal totems, people who connect with animal spirits, and every possible animal totem marches in. And then all the angels and spirits that come in and help us and guide us. As a lot of people resonate with a guardian angel, and they all come in. And then Creator, however you envision Creator, however you resonate most with that spirit comes in. And everybody comes around the track, and we form a big circle. And on the inside, where normally that one runner would come in and light the torch, that's when everybody has a torch. Every single one of us, all thousands and thousands of spirits that are there. And we all reach in and we all light a huge light together. A light that can be seen from anywhere in the universe. That is how our spiritual Olympics start. With us all standing together. And do you think with all of that, there's anything that could stand in our way? There's any force that could override that kind of energy when we're all together, when we support one another? I mean, people can have many, many different belief systems, but we can all stand together because we're all people. We're all human. We are all divine beings having a human experience. So whenever you think about something that's really weighing down on you, where you feel that you are lost in it, that you have no power against it. Picture that opening ceremony for the Olympics, because that all of those spirits, all of those thoughts, and maybe, you know what? Maybe you say, it's like, well, you know what? I don't believe in any of that. Well, you can pretend it. Whatever it is you do believe, you can resonate with that. And you see all of these beings come in, because what's going to come up, it's not the Thunderdome where one man enters and one man, you know, whatever, you know, many men enter and only one man leaves. No, we're in this together. That's the Olympics. It's going to be tough. It's going to be challenging. And everybody gets a gold medal, because all you have to do to get a gold medal is just show up. And when people get hurt, when, you know, people aren't able to work as hard because maybe they get tired, maybe, you know, they're experiencing some pain. In the spiritual Olympics, everybody stops. All the participants stop and help that one participant get back up on his feet. It doesn't matter how you visualize it. The important thing is, choose something that allows you to realize that you're not alone, that you have all of this energy that's around you. Recently, I knew somebody who fell, and right before they hit the ground, they said they swore they felt something lifting them up, something cushioning their fall. Yes, it is possible. It is within the realm of reality that the universe is a lot bigger than we thought, and that energy can do amazing things. Thought can do amazing things. So what happens during these Olympics? Well, like in the normal Olympics, there's lots of events. One group may be handling the event of staying centered and grounded, and so they manage that grounding. Maybe in another arena, there's a team on healing thoughts, and everybody from all the different traditions gets together and creates that healing energy. Another area, one of the other events, could be social justice and standing up for what you feel is right. And it doesn't matter what you feel is right. What matters is you stand up for it in a positive, healthy way. Yelling what you feel often is ignored, but sharing what you feel, that often gets a much better response. And when people share together, you really can't stop us. You cannot stand in the way of the universe. And that's what we become when we open up to the fact that, yeah, there's a lot to do. Yeah, there are things that we have to be concerned about, but we don't have to do it alone. Be alone. And remember that. Remember that when times get tough. Remember that when you reach that place where maybe you're not so optimistic about the future, when you're not sure how much there is to be grateful for. That's usually a sign that you're feeling alone. Because if you can get together with one other person and maybe they just make you laugh, or maybe they listen to you when you really need to share something from your heart, that is something to be grateful for. I'm tremendously grateful for that, because there's a lot of stuff that occasionally weighs me down, and I use my tools. And one of my tools is reaching out and say, hey, you got a minute? I really need to kind of talk some things out. And that is one of the most beautiful things that we have going for us, is our ability to reach out and talk to one another, and to have somebody listen to us, and to know that we're not alone. We are not alone in this plane of existence, and we are not alone in spiritual aspects. Like I said, whatever it is you believe, I love it for you. And I'm glad you have that. Maybe it's you believe in absolute science. Maybe you believe that pretty much we all just need to be nice because this is it. Or maybe you believe in angels, or maybe you believe in the ancestors who come and help us out. They're all at those Olympics. We don't compete alone. We don't run a relay and we're the only one with the baton. We've got somebody to reach for the baton with us. And when we falter, we have people and spirits who will help us lift ourselves up and remind us that we're not alone. And if nothing else, I'm always here. You're not alone. There are people who care about you. And if you really feel like you're that alone, please reach out. Contact someone. Contact me. But I want you to know that with these amazing Olympics, this amazing time for us to really show what it is that we've learned. Because in a way, for all the people who have studied and prayed and done things and focused on things and worked at learning to smudge and worked at learning to hold space and the difference between sage and cedar and how to meditate. A lot of people have studied that for a very, very long time. Haven't you been waiting for a chance to use it? The opportunity to go, this is what I've been training all this time for. Now I can step up and I can make a difference because of what I practice, because of what I learned, because of what I wanted to bring to the world. Those gifts that you have for the world, those gifts, the gifts of compassion and of kindness and of certainty in difficult times. Now is the time for you to share those gifts. And you can share them joyfully and with a glad heart, because we're going to be okay. And the reason we're going to be okay is because everyone has it within them to be a bright, shining light. Like I said, we all get the gold medal at the Spiritual Olympics, because no matter what we do, and it may not be pretty, we may not succeed in everything, but we've always got somebody there to help us and encourage us. So hang in there. Don't worry. No matter what happens, we're going to be okay. All it takes is telling yourself a better story. So thank you for joining me. I will be back next week. I'm not quite sure where I'll be broadcasting from, but either way, it'll be interesting. So you can like, subscribe, share, and comment if you would like to either connect with me, or if you have a topic that you would like me to explore, I'd be happy to. And it looks like, oh, those are things. Nope, I think we're okay. So, and once again, I apologize for looking. I may have to figure out a better way to do this, but know that I'm totally present with you. So you can contact me through my Facebook page, which is Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen. You can reach me through my website at www.the-healing-house.com. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you follow me on Twitter, I will follow you back. And, well, you can always just Google me. But either way, I'm here for you, and I care, and I'm proud of you. So, until next time, I wish you balance, and I wish you blessings. I wish you peace, and I wish you love, because I know that you have that gold medal within you. You just have to notice you're wearing it. So, my love to you all, from my heart to yours. Love you. Bye-bye.